Write a function to display a two-dimensional array of real numbers on the screen. Real numbers means decimal numbers, float. So you consider a two-dimensional array with three rows. Example, these are the three rows, and with four columns. These are the four columns, 1, 2, 3 and 4. You consider a two-dimensional array with three rows and four columns. These are the four columns. For the first row, the index is 0. In C++, index starts with 0. So for the first row, the index is 0. Next row, index is 1. And for the next row, the index is 2. So the 0 is known as lower bound of the row, and this 2 is the upper bound of the row. In C++, lower bound is 0 and upper bound is number of rows minus 1. Here 3 rows are there, so the upper bound is 3 minus 1. In general, if r rows are there, the upper bound will be r minus 1. Similarly, for the first column, the index is 0 because lower bound starts with 0. Lower bound of the column is 0. For the next column, the index is 1. For the next one, index 2. And for the last one, index 3. When 4 columns are there, the upper bound of the column is 4 minus 1. So in general, if C columns are there, the upper bound of the column is C minus 1. Now these row indices are stored in variable I. So initially variable I will contain the first row index, then I will contain the next row index and so on. So these row indices are stored in variable I, and the column indices are stored in another variable, say for example j. So I contains row index, j contains column index. Initially I contains the row index 0 and j contains this column index 0. So this element is nothing but m of ij, where m is the name of the two-dimensional array. So this element will be m of ij. If you want to display this element, the code can be written as cout output operator m of ij output operator space, because after displaying one element there should be space. In this code, if I substitute j as 0, I get this element. If I substitute j as 1, if j is substituted as 1, I get this element. Similarly, if j is substituted as 2, I get this element. And finally, if j is substituted as 3, the upper bound of the column, in general it is c minus 1. So if j is substituted as c minus 1, I get this element. So my point is, when j is 0, you get this. When j is 1, you get this element. When j is 2, you get this element. And finally, when j is 3, you get this element. So as j varies from 0 to 3 or 0 to c minus 1, I get row I of the two-dimensional array, where I is nothing but 0. Repeat, as j varies from 0 to c minus 1, I get row I of the two-dimensional array, and here I is 0. So j varies from 0 to c minus 1. How can you write the code? For int j is equal to 0, j less than or equal to c minus 1, j plus plus. So using this piece of code, we can display row I, that is, this row will be displayed. And here I is nothing but 0. After displaying one row, the next row should come in a new line which means I need end L. See out output operator end L displays next row in a new line. So please remember the points. This is made use of to display row I on the screen. And after displaying row I, the next row should come in a new line. So this end L. Now, when I is equal to 0, that is, in this code, if I put I as 0, I get row 0. Then because of this end L, cursor will go to next line. In this code, if I substitute I as 1, this I. So if I substitute this I as 1, then display row I, row 1, this row will be displayed. And after that, because of this end L, cursor will go to next line. Similarly, in this code, if I substitute I as 2, then display row 2, that is, this row will be displayed. And because of this end L, cursor will go to next line, which means in this code, as I varies from 0 to 2, or in general 0 to r minus 1, I get all the rows of the two-dimensional array. So this code I varies from 0 to r minus 1. You can write the code like this. For int I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to r minus 1, I plus plus. Now, associated with this for loop, this is one piece of code which displays row I, and this is another piece of code, cursor will go to next line. So associated with this for loop, two statements are there, 1, 2. So here you need an opening curly bracket, closing curly bracket. Now this piece of code is made use of to display a two-dimensional array on the screen. It must be inside a function. How do you put the code inside a function? Straight away write the name of the function followed by function symbol followed by opening curly bracket, closing curly bracket. Find the return type, find the signature. The return type is void because this function is used to display a two-dimensional array on the screen. So no answer calculated, nothing returned. So function does not return any answer, so you can make use of void. Signature part, the array should be passed. It's array of real numbers, float. The name of the array is M. In the function prototype, this is function prototype. When you declare a two-dimensional array, number of rows is not a must. This you can avoid, and number of columns must be given. So make a note of this one. In the function prototype, when you declare a two-dimensional array, number of rows is not a must. And if you give the number of rows, it must be the same as the one given in the main function or the calling function. Number of columns must be given and it must be the same as the one given in the main function or calling function. Then number of rows must be passed, number of columns must be passed. So it can be taken as a rule. Usually in problems connected with two-dimensional array, you need to pass the two-dimensional array, you need to pass number of rows, you need to pass number of columns. Now let me iterate this code for a better understanding. Iterating the C++ function. One example is taken. This is the example. So here 3 rows are there. 1, 2 and 3. So here number of rows is equal to 3. So your r minus 1 is 2. Upper bound of the row is 2. So this is 2. R minus 1. 3 minus 1. You can see the upper bound of the row is r minus 1. So this is nothing but 2. Number of columns, example taken 4. Here 4 columns are there. So this one 4. So upper bound of the column C minus 1, 4 minus 1, 3. So this is upper bound of the column C minus 1. So your C minus 1 is 3. Now a for loop always starts from this area. Initially I is equal to 0. Let me note down somewhere I is 0. Yes, memory is allocated for I. It contains the initial value 0. Now I is 0 means this row index is stored in variable I. So let me note down I is 0. After this condition check. So 0 less than or equal to 2, condition true, hence it comes inside. One more for loop, it's a nested for loop. If one for loop is inside another for loop, nested for loop. So one more for loop. For loop always starts from this area. J is equal to 0. Let me note down somewhere. Memory is allocated for J. It contains the initial value 0. Now J is equal to 0 means this column index is stored in variable J. So now J contains 0. Yes, J contains 0. Now after this condition check, 0 less than or equal to 3, J is 0. So 0 less than or equal to 3, condition true, it comes inside. C out output operator M of ij. Here what is I? 0. What is J? 0. So this is M of 0, 0. And what is M of 0, 0? 9. So in the computer's monitor you get 9. And because of this space, a space comes. Now after this, control will not come here because for the inner for loop there is no bracket. There is no bracket like this, which means after this control comes here. J is incremented, J becomes 1. Now J becomes 1 means now this column index is stored in variable J. You can see that. Yes, J contains 1. Now after this condition check, 1 less than or equal to 3, condition true, it comes inside. C out output operator M of ij. I is 0. Now J became 1. So it is M of 0, 1. And M of 0, 1 is this element 8. So here you get 8. And because of this space displayed. So in the computer's monitor you get 8. After this, again it comes here. J is incremented, J becomes 2. So this becomes 2. Now after this condition check, 2 less than or equal to 3, condition true, it comes inside. Now C out output operator M of ij. I is 0, J is 2, M of 0, 2, this element, M of 0, 2, this element. So 2 displayed in the computer's monitor followed by space, a space comes. Again after this J is incremented, J plus plus 2 plus plus 3. So now your J becomes 3. Now after this condition check, 3 less than or equal to 3, condition true, inside. C out output operator M of ij. I is 0, J is 3, M of 0, 3. So this is M of 0, 3, M of 0, 3, this one. So 7 displayed in the computer's monitor, and because of this space, one space comes. Again after this J is incremented, J becomes 3 plus plus 4. Now this goes. Now after this condition check, 4 less than or equal to 3, condition wrong, you exit from the inner for loop and the control will come here because of this opening and closing curly bracket, that is this end L is a part of outer for loop. So when you exit from the inner for loop, control will come here, and because of this end L, cursor will go to next line. After this, control comes here, I plus plus. So 0 plus plus, it becomes 1. Now after this, condition check 1 less than or equal to 2, condition true, it comes inside. So here I became 1, so this will become 1. I became 1, 1 less than or equal to 2, correct, it comes inside. Now no need to execute this because this displays row I on the screen. What is I? I is 1. So row 1 will be displayed on the screen. That is, this row will be displayed on the screen. 3615. So I am not repeating this because in the previous iteration we understood this displays row I on the screen, and now I is 1, so this one will be displayed on the screen. Yes, so it displays 3615, and after this endl is there, so cursor will go to next line. Again after this, control comes here, I incremented 1 plus plus, I becomes 2, so this I becomes 2. After this, condition check 2 less than or equal to 2, yes it is correct, it comes inside. Now no need to execute this because we understood the meaning of this one. It displays row I. This time I is 2, so row 2 will be displayed, this one will be displayed. 4986, and because of this end L, cursor will go to next line. After this, again I is incremented, 2 plus plus, I becomes 3. So this one goes because I became 3. Now after this, condition check 3 less than or equal to 2, condition wrong, so you exit from the outer for loop and no more statements are there, program terminates. So this can be remembered as a formula. If you want to display a two-dimensional array on the screen, the C++ code is this. And make a note of this one. This is made use of to display row I. After displaying a row, the next row should come in a new line. So this end L. And finally, for this for loop, two statements are there. This is one statement, this is another statement. So you need the opening curly bracket, closing curly bracket.